Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, guys. So, President Thabo Mbeki and the ANC, I think it was yesterday, right, when they were having a funeral. I think it was yesterday. They were having a funeral yesterday, and President Thabo Mbeki decided to say something. Okay. President Mbeki decided to say something, right, about this whole thing, you know. And I'm going to play the video just now, right? I'm going to play the video just now. You know, what President Mbeki, the short 10-minute video that you guys are going to watch, he's going to just go straight to the point. Because I think he's speaking at a funeral, so he doesn't want to be too controversial. He's still being a gentleman about it. Okay? He's still being a gentleman about it, but he's speaking up. Right? President Mbeki is finally speaking up against the ANC. In front of the ANC. Okay. This is important for us to note because the ANC government and the ANC followers are very quick to assassinate somebody who's telling the truth. Okay. We've been watching them assassinate people for a very long time. For a very long time. Now, the citizens of South Africa, at large, the citizens of South Africa, including the media, including SABC and all these media outlets, they are not reporting the statistics that I always give you guys. When you look at the media, you will always look at, oh, this person is accused of corruption and that person is accused of corruption. We have been giving you statistics since 2015, back when President Jacob Zuma was crashing our economy. Okay. Back when the ANC was hiring thugs to run the SAPS. Back when they were giving our money to the Guptas, 2015. When companies were closing down and people were getting retrenched, 2015. Everybody was quiet about that. People were getting retrenched, companies were closing down. Inflation was sky high, obviously, right? Food became expensive. All of these things happened in 2015. I remember on my socials, I was publishing all this information, telling you guys that, hey, there's a rise in unemployment. And back then, unemployment was 40%. Okay. Nationally, unemployment was 40%. Okay. And nobody was giving those statistics. It was just us on our social media platforms, the economic activists of South Africa, right? So all these years later, things have gotten worse for us. But somehow the ANC has gotten richer and everybody in the ANC has been a billionaire. South Africa has gone through hell and back. If you guys remember, we've gone through hell. If you guys remember, for the first time, we were called a junk status economy because there was so much inflation, food became expensive, right? Nobody could afford a car. There were so many things that were happening. It was just too much. My point is this: since then, things have gotten worse. It's as if every time the people vote, things become worse. It doesn't matter who you vote for; things get worse. Okay. 68% today in 2025. The real number is 68%. 68% of South Africans are living in poverty. Okay. That is the real number of South Africans, not the population. Statistics South Africa, listen to me. Stats SA, listen to me. Stats, listen. The citizens, I look for the actual statistic. I look for the numbers that matter. The citizens, the people of South Africa, 68% of them are living in poverty, and this is approximately 45 million people. It's almost everyone who's not in the ANC. So basically, every South African who's not in the ANC is struggling in one way or another. Even if you are making money, right? Even if you are making money, you still have to take care of 5 family members who are adults and they're unemployed and their businesses are failing and they're not making any money. So even if the family member that is making money has to take care of 7 other people. This is what the statistic means. Okay. Now, Stats SA, listen to me, Stats, I'm talking to you again. Stats SA is saying that no, the population is at 40% of, they said, oh, it's 42% of, I can't remember whether it was 45% or 42%, I can't remember. They said, no, it's only 45%, the population is 45%. Listen, Stats, listen, Statistics South Africa, listen to me. Let me give you the truth for free, okay? Let me give you a crash course. Population means everyone, including foreigners. Population doesn't mean citizens. It means foreigners as well. So because of the foreigners in Cape Town who are European, and because of the foreigners everywhere else in South Africa who come from Nigeria and Zimbabwe, who are getting construction tenders in South Africa, because of all the Zimbabweans who are friends with Julius the Scammer and the ANC, because of all the foreigners that are getting money because of tenders from the economic fraudulent fighters and the African national con artists, right? Because of the ANC and the EFF, right? Because foreigners are making more money in South Africa than the people of South Africa. The statistic then goes down to 43%. And Stats SA will say, oh, no, the population is only 43%. Yes, the population is only 43% poverty, but the citizens of South Africa is almost at 70% in terms of poverty. Okay. That's just one problem. We have a bunch of other problems. South Africa is still the rape capital of the world. Okay. We have a bunch of other problems. South Africa is still the rape capital of the world. South Africa is now officially in 2025, right? In 2025, South Africa is now officially the assassination capital of the world. Thousands of people get murdered in this country every year. Every year, thousands of people get murdered in this country every year. And this is not, guys, South Africa is not a war zone. We are not like these countries that are always at war, like Syria and all these countries in the Middle East and Gaza and Israel and Palestine. And no, South Africa it comes across as a functioning country in general, right? South Africa comes across as a functioning country in general. But in actuality, on a day-to-day basis, South Africa doesn't function well. South Africa is moving backwards, okay? So President Mbeki, it's just a 10-minute clip, guys. I'm gonna play this clip for you guys. I'm gonna play this, okay? Just, guys, please listen to this. Today it's Sunday. I really don't want to be upset. I really don't want to be upset. I'm really trying to calm myself down, guys. Please listen to this, and then we'll talk, okay? This is President Mbeki, okay? Cheers, guys. If you are new here, please like and subscribe and hit the notification button. It's important, okay? Please hit the notification button. Hit the notification button. It's important, okay? Cheers, guys, and may God bless you. Cheers, South Africa. Function as from the economic.
Thanks, Comrade Mbeki. This is Valley and the Mafulu family and the Mapetla family. I'm standing here very briefly to say a very sad but fond farewell to an excellent human being. That was Titus Mafulu. I was indeed very privileged to work with him for a decade as my political advisor. Mujangu talks about our attending a rugby match in Paris. When the Springboks won, they won the cup that year. He didn't explain why we went shopping. Titus says to all of us, it was a very warm day. The sun was shining. Paris was very warm. But the match was in the evening. So Titus says, we must go shopping. Because when the sun sets, it will get cold. That's why we had to buy underwear. It's him who said we need to go and buy underwear because in the stadium, it will be cold. That's why we went shopping. Yeah, she's right. I can't remember who paid for my underwear. But indeed, I think we're very, very privileged to work with Comrade Titus, because when he came to work with us at the union buildings, we inherited a very well-grounded revolutionary, a thinker, an activist. I hear many of us say that Titus was my speechwriter. I'm not so sure about that. Yes, indeed, he wrote very, very well. But principally, Titus was a thinker. A thinker. Because it's very the many people talk to many people about what is the aim of politics. They think about getting elected. Political activities to go and campaign and get elected. That wasn't Titus's view. His view was that the central task of politics is to be able to set a target, and we say we are here today, the country is here today, this is where it ought to be tomorrow. And therefore, now as a political advisor, that's what he had to answer. Historically, or not historically, for many decades, the first major political statement of the ANC every year is the January 8th statement. Very important because it explains what the movement says should be happening for the rest of the year. So those years, it was always not very easy to have very nice Christmas and New Year holidays. Because January 8th is the 8th of January, the year at the beginning of the year. So you've got to prepare the January 8th statement. I'm saying that. So we'd have to sit with Comrade Titus to say, what do we say in the January 8th statement? You'd recall that, of course, the following month, we've got to deliver the State of the Nation address. The same task would arise. What do we say to the nation? Mujangu has mentioned also this publication which ANC issued every Friday, the ANC Today. So every Friday we had to write to appear this article. And again, we have to engage Titus to say, what do we say? I'm saying we're very, very privileged that we had him as a political advisor, because he discharged this function of saying, what is it that we say? What is it that we want to achieve? What targets do we set? What messages do we communicate to the country? That's what he advised about. Edima Luka mentioned, I think others also mentioned this trilogy that Titus wrote about the African Odyssey. The origin of that trilogy was that we had to think about Freedom Park. A decision is taken that the Freedom Park must be built. This major, major monument. So the question had to be answered, how do we conceptualize this Freedom Park? What shall it contain? What shall it represent? Is it freedom, freedom from apartheid? Or what freedom is this? In the course of discussing that with Titus, the idea came up that we need to tell a story about South Africa which is not told. The Freedom Park needs to tell a story that is not told about our country, including freedom from apartheid. We'll tell that part. It's in the course of discussing that we discovered one of the things that is very, very interesting. I'm saying that a source of inspiration for the African Odyssey. We discovered that according to what the scientists say, there are two places in the world where you have the earliest evidence of the formation of the earth. As before life and all of that. One of those places is Greenland. The other place where you have the first evidence of the formation of the earth is on the Barberton Mountains. So this is a very distinguishing feature about South Africa, which people don't know. So we thought with Titus that the death of Freedom Park must tell this story, which is not told about South Africa. It's as ancient as that, the formation of the earth itself. That is what inspired the writing of the African Odyssey. Because he then said, then we need to tell the story not only about South Africa, but about the African continent. I'm saying here where I'm giving an example of Titus, the political advisor, who helped to set the course to say that South Africa is here today and South Africa ought to be there tomorrow. And therefore, what is it that we say in everything we write, in everything we do, in order to help the country to get to where it should be tomorrow? There was one scary moment which Edima Luka will know about. When Titus led us in the formation of what he called the Native Club, that frightened the white people. They very got scared, this notion of a native club. What is this thing? And many of them thought that the Africans were forming their own African Broederbond. It scared them. But the name was very deliberate, because Titus was arguing that let's call it the Native Club, because what he was arguing was, here we are in Pretoria. At the end of the day, what do all of these professionals and academics and business people and all of this, at the end of the working day, what do? They go drinking somewhere or whatever. That you needed a club. a place where they can get together and even talk among themselves about the future of the country. It must be a place of interaction among this layer of our society about where South Africa ought to be tomorrow. That was the formation of the Native Club. But I'm talking about somebody who critically played a very important role in helping our country to move from where it was when he came into government to where it was by the time we left. We're very privileged indeed, as I was saying, that we inherited a very well-grounded revolutionary, a thinker, an activist, a principled person, committed to the masses of our people, committed to the betterment of our country. I must end here, but before I end, I must say that Mujanku is correct. Titus has left us too early. Because the ANC is in problems, serious problems. South Africa is in serious problems. I don't know about yourselves, but me, I don't know where South Africa will be tomorrow. Where are we going? How are we going to solve all of these problems? Whether it's crime or the economy, unemployment, this and that and the other. We need Titus Mafulu to be with us, to say, to get out of this problem, this is what we need to do. We need that political advisor today. But unfortunately, he has left us. But I think that's a challenge to other people, to Hope Thabo and other people. Mbeki goes here behind me. Brian Molefe, to answer this question. Where should South Africa be tomorrow? And what should we do to make sure that it gets there tomorrow? I think as we say farewell to Titus, and we've gathered here in all the numbers that we should, happily, fortunately, that I think the reason we're all of us here is to make this statement that this role, we will play this role of political advisor to answer this very important question. Where should South Africa be tomorrow? And how does it get there? Titus always answered that question correctly. We need him now to do that. Because he's no longer with us, at least the tribute we should pay to him is to say, we too will do our best to answer that question honestly about where South Africa should be tomorrow. A real farewell to Comrade Titus. It really was a privilege to work with you. And our sincere condolences to the Mafulu family, the Mapetlas. You've lost an outstanding person, as has the country. But I think we have an obligation to fill the space that he left. We owe it that to the country. We owe it to the millions of our people. But farewell, Comrade Titus. Thank you very much.